Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming. Fire in the water, Old Man Lone Wolf. Here we go, guys. We are on part 3 of the second book of the Lone Wolf series. Not going as easy for Claude as the first book did. We're 1 death in the hole. We've only got 2 deaths before Claude Van Helgen is dead permanently, and I have to create a whole nother character and start from the book from scratch. We've also used 2 out of our 3 saves, so I only have 1 more save, and I am really hanging on to that one to try and save it later towards the book. So yeah, right now he just went to sleep at the inn. We've got an unfortunate accident happening, and we're gonna find out what the random number table says. All right, turn to 108. Lost 2 endurance points. Sweet, great. One of the wheels jams in a deep rut, and 3 of the large spokes are shattered, so we must have left. I think I forgot to read the last one, funny enough. Wooden spokes are shattered. You are forced to stop and replace the wheel before you can continue to port back. You volunteer to help the driver by levering the coach axle with a small tree trunk, so that the spare wheel can be slid into position. You are pushing down on the stout branch with all your strength when the horses suddenly rear up and race forward. The trunk springs back and catches you square in the face, knocking you backwards to the ground. You are stunned and lose 2 endurance points. The driver is not so lucky. The coach has run him over as the poor man dies in your arms. His last words are, "No accident, I saw." Okay, so we've got 6th sense. That's going to come in handy, hopefully. You sense that you were the intended victim of the supposed accident. One of the passengers is trying to kill you. We kind of already knew that because one of the passengers killed us when our first death happened. So, slowly, one by one, the other travelers appear to stare in shock at the dead coachman. "We must bury him," says the priest. You silently nod your agreement and prepare a grave in which to lay the corpse. As you all walk back to the coach, you discuss what should be done. "I know the road to Port Bax. I had better drive the coach," volunteers Halvarak. I can't remember which one Halvarak is. Was Halvarak the... I think he was one of the brothers. I do hope we're not blamed for his death," says the priest nervously. "It was an act of the gods," says Dorier. "I shall testify to that," says Ganon. "Lies are never spoken by Knights of the White Mountain." Oh, Ganon is one of the Knights of the White Mountain. Which one was the fucking... I cannot remember which one was which. I know Vivica's the girl. I know the priest is the priest. I cannot remember what the names are. Mistakes were made. Should have written stuff down. It is true that in Durinor, a true knight will speak only the truth, whether for his own good or ill. His words seem to reassure the priest, and you are all soon once more on the road heading towards the eastern horizon. It is late in the afternoon when you arrive at a coach station on a small coastal village known as Gorn Cove, which is mainly populated by outcast thieves and Zulls. The death of the coachman is met by the villagers with great suspicion, but Dorier's words convince them that it was accidental. There is only one inn at the village, a tavern known as the Forlorn Hope. Its state of disrepair is typical of all other hovels in this poor sea village. A room for a night costs 1 gold crown. Sweet. Still have it. Glad I made a couple extra, but I'm running out. Let me check the map real quick. We got the fishing village. So this is the Gorn Cove right here. Okay, so we're not that far from Port Bax. We're getting there. We're getting there. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to figure out who this guy is trying to kill me though. So we're gonna pay for the room. The innkeeper is a thin old man with only one eye. He hands you a key and points to the balcony opposite. "Number 2, the red door," he says, and the other travelers each pay 1 crown, collect a key, and make their way across the crowded tavern floor towards the stairs. We must make plans for tomorrow, says Dorier. The others all nod in agreement. I suggest we meet here in the bar in 1 hour to decide what to do. As you close the red door of your room, for some unknown reason you recall the words of Captain Kelman when you left Homeguard Harbor. There is an evil treachery at work, and the enemy already has plans afoot to thwart your quest. An hour has nearly passed when the thoughts are disturbed by a knock at the door. It is the innkeeper, and he is carrying a tray of hot food. I don't feel like I need to eat that food. With the compliments of one of your friends, he says, and leaves before you can ask which one. You have not eaten today, and the food smells most appetizing. I definitely haven't eaten today, but I'm not going to eat this food because we know that there's somebody trying to kill me, and I got healing. So my dude is super hungry, but he is just not. He's on freaking. He's on a cleanse right now, I guess. So we're not going to eat it. You take the 3-point damage. Although the delicious smell of the food is making your mouth water, you suspect that something is very wrong. You set the tray down by the door. Your hunger has made you tired, and you decide to take a short nap before the meeting and the meeting and the others. Before meeting the others in the bar. When you awake, you see the bodies of 2 dead rats lying outside the food tray. They have been poisoned. The shock soon turns to anger when you realize that the poison was in the food intended for you. You grab your equipment and leave the room, intent on discovering your would-be assassin. Okay. By the time you reach the bar, the others are all seated at a large table, waiting your appearance. Drawing closer to the table, you realize you have found your would-be assassin. You will have to attack without giving any warning to your enemy. So study your fellow travelers carefully and then make your decision. Are you fucking serious? I got to do it by the picture? I think it's a priest, right? It's got to be the priest. All right, so what about this picture? Because I don't think it's the knights. What am I missing, guys? By the time you reach the bar, the others are seated at a large table awaiting your appearance. Drawing closer to the table, you realize that you have found your would-be assassin. You will have to attack without giving warning to your enemy. So study your fellow travelers carefully and make your decision. What the shit? I don't... Oh, the serpent! There it is. You guys see it, right? On the priest, the serpent. That's tricky. That's tricky. Because if you remember, when we were fighting the hoodlums in the first bar, they all had serpents tattoos on their arm. And there's the little serpent. Man, I almost didn't catch that. I thought it was the priest anyway, just because the priest seems to be the most obvious, but that serpent, that's the oneer. So we'll do it. We're going to take him out. Which one's the priest? We're going to adventurous priest called Parasan. Parasan is what I call him, I think. Parsion. The priest does not seem to be surprised by your attack. He draws a black sword from beneath his robes. Combat ratio, I only have a 3 on this guy, and he has a lot of endurance points. So I might die. This might be number 2. Should I do the save here? It's a lot to go through. Ugh. I'm going to do it. Final save. Final save. It gets real after this. Save 3. Hold on. Helga. Alright, that's it. No more safety net. I will be starting the book from here on out with Claude Van Helgen until he dies his 3rd time or we succeed the book. Oh, we did tons of damage. He brings that big sword out. What do I got? I got the spear. Whip the spear around. I've got the advantage. I'm just poking him from the distance, man. He can't get inside. It's got that natural fighting ability Claude does. So I only took 2 damage. He took 10. So let's play the next one. And he's down, baby. Oh, 2nd spear right to the throat. Dead. Alright, so we win. Priest is dead. Searching 23 gold crowns! Yay, money! Searching the body, you discover all you need to prove that he was the assassin. Inside his pockets, you find a half-empty vial of nadern sap, the deadly poison that was used to taint your food. Then there is a scroll written in Gaiac, giving details of your expected arrival in Port Bax. He must have located you at Ragadorn and hatched his murderous plans there. You notice the weapon he carries is a Dark Lord blade, fashioned of black steel and forged in the furnaces of Helgadad, the infernal city of the Dark Lords beyond the Derncrag range. Only there, in all of the vast Magnamun, can black steel be made. But the final proof of his true identity is the serpent tattoo on his left wrist. The harbor thugs who attempted to kill you before you had even left Home Guard bore the exact same mark. Got him. His purse contains 23 gold crowns, which you may keep. Don't forget to mark them on your action chart. I did not, because the game did it for me. Turn to 33. The other travelers stare with horror and disbelief at what you have done. Before you can explain yourself, there is a loud crash and the front door is thrown open. In a rush, 6 armored soldiers, led by the innkeeper, they are the town guard, and the one-eyed innkeeper is screaming at them to arrest you. If you wish to fight them, if you wish to escape, I think I gotta escape, right? I gotta run. This is unfortunate, but I gotta run. Although night has fallen, the moon casts a bright light upon the village behind the tavern. You see a small wheelwright's shop and 2 horses hitched to a hay cart. If you have the high discipline of camouflage, which I do, if you wish to take a horse and escape, if you wish to hide the wheelwright, we're gonna use camouflage, baby. Coming in handy finally. Use your Kai discipline of camouflage. You can hide undetected in the hay cart until it is safe to come out. If you wish to hide in the hay wain, if you would rather take a horse and leave the village, you can hide undetected in the hay cart until it is safe to come out. Leave the village if you wish to enter the wheelwright shop. I feel like I should just take the horse and leave, right? Yeah, let's take the horse and leave. Oh, I gotta eat again. Can't do it. You spur the horse along the twisted village street, across the wooden bridge, and up a steep path towards the crest of the cove. In the light of the moon, you catch a glimpse of the signpost pointing eastwards. Port Bax, 50 miles. Nice, almost there. You ride all night without sleep. As the dawn breaks, you are greeted by a startling change of landscape. The barren wildlands have given way to the moors of the waterlogged fens, and a dark shadow runs the length of the eastern horizon for as far as the eye can see. This is the Duranor Forest, the natural frontier of the Mountain Kingdom, where it borders the untamed wildlands. It is indeed a welcome sight. You are no more than a day's ride from Port Bax, but you are tired after the night ride and must eat a meal or lose 3 endurance points. We're losing. If you have the discipline of hunting, you may use that skill. Don't have it. After an hour's ride, you come to the fork in the road. There is no signpost. Okay, so lose 3 hit points for us. If you wish to take the fork to the left, if you wish to take the fork to the right. Okay, so we're in there. There's no signpost. So, are we going north or are we going east? I'm not even sure. Let's look at the map here. I think that's the fork, right? Like that right there has to be the fork, I feel like. So, I think we've got to go, what's facing that? That would be to the left. Let's go to the left. The road follows the course along a high grassy ridge for many miles before returning northwards to the coast. You pass a village where the houses curve in a circle around the large pond of stagnant water. As you ride through, a gaggle of Saul children come running towards you, shouting and throwing stones. You descend into a deep valley beyond and gradually. Why were they throwing stones at me? Yeah. Gradually, the moor gives way to a richer land that has been cleared and plowed. The hillside opposite the heavy wooded. The hillside opposite the heavy wooded. You are not far from the coast, and you can see the tall cliffs with their multicolored bands of rock jutting out into the ocean. Then, just as you are passing through the small copse, you hear desperate cries for help to your right. I think he's going to ignore. He's still kind of like very dead set on his mission, very dead set on getting this done. I don't think he's helping people right now. He's trying to get to where he needs to get. And greater good sort of character. So we're going to ignore the desperate pleas and keep riding. Lost an endurance point for that. You have covered less than 20 yards when your horse reels up and bolts. You are thrown to the ground and lose 1 endurance point. Brushing the dirt from your cloak, you curse the animal as the animal disappears out of sight. You'll have to continue on your journey. What the heck was that about? All right, whatever, horse. You have been walking for nearly 2 hours when you reach the peak of a hill and see the Durnor forest stretched out before you. The road bears eastwards. And enters the trees at the point where the large wooden tower has been built. You see a silhouette of a soldier on guard. Avoid the guard and enter and make a wide detour. Enter the forest further south. No, I think we talked to the guard. I mean, we're supposed to be here, right? You are less than 20 yards away from the tower, and the guard steps forward and demands to know your business. You notice that the soldier is wearing a red coat of the Durnese men-at-arms, and realize that you have reached the border of Durnor. You need to find some way of getting past him. Okay. Okay. Well, I could show him the seal if you still have it. I've got the Sixth Sense. Let's do the Sixth Sense. You can sense that this guard is a loyal Durnese soldier. If you were to attempt to bribe him, he would be likely to consider it a grave insult and attack you. If you wish to show him the seal of Hammerdal, let's just show him the seal of Hammerdal. The guard stares at the magnificent ring in awe. The legend of the seal of Hammerdal is well known to the people of Durnor. It is said that of all the lost treasures of the Durnese, the seal of Hammerdal is one that they would not wish returned. The guard's anxious face shows that clearly recognizes the ring's dreadful significance. I will not hinder your urgent mission, but I cannot help you except to set you on the road for Port Bax. Continue on this forest path, and you will come to a fork near a stunted oak tree. Take the left track. It is the quickest way. You thank the loyal guard and push on once more into the forest. A mile or so along the road, you come to the fork and you take the left track. It leads to the stone bridge across the Rymer Rift. The waters of the Rymer Rift are over a mile deep. A mile deep? What is the Rymer Rift? Why am I way down here? How did I get from up there to down here? Oh, that's real weird. Okay. Name 2 miles is wide as points, so it's like a lock. You breathe a sigh of relief, for you should arrive in under an hour. Port Box, 3 miles. At dusk, on the 10th day of your quest, you experience your first sight of the magnificent city of Port Bax. Like a diamond set on the green velvet shore, the towers of the city glimmer in the pale light of the waxing moon. To the north is the Harmer and the formidable war fleet of the Durnese navy. To the east, beyond the moss-covered city wall, stretches the forest of Durnor. And there, on the crest of the hill, stands a castle, tall and proud, the crowning glory of this beautiful port. You enter Port Bax through an unguarded gate in the green city wall and make your way through the darkening streets towards the harbor. As you turn into a tree-lined avenue, you notice the wild stone steps of a domed building to your right. You stop to read the brass plaque, City Hall. Yay! If you wish to enter City Hall, if you wish to continue your ways to the harbor. So, I needed to find Prince Rygar, right? Like, that's what I needed to find. But he doesn't know. He thinks I'm coming via the port, right? So, like, okay. So let's go into the City Hall. He'd probably point us in the right direction. Just inside the main door sits a kindly old man with a long beard. He is studying a huge leather-bound book and rests on the lectern before him. He has not noticed you enter the City Hall. If you wish to ask him the way to the Consulate of Summerland, turn to 211. If you wish to leave and try and find your own way there, we're going to ask him the Consulate way. The Consulate of Summerland? He says, in surprise, somewhat taken back by your sudden appearance. Then, recovering himself, he says, Why, of course! It is in Alan Square, near the harbor. Turn right when you leave, and right again at the end of the avenue. That will take you to the Red Gate. You'll need a red pass to enter, as the consulate is in the naval quadrant of the city. It's a restricted area. Ah, son of a bitch. You ask the man how you're going to obtain a red pass. From the captain of the port watch, he says. You're obviously a stranger to Port Box. There are a few, indeed, that you do not know. You're obviously a stranger to Port Box. There are few, indeed, that do not know the answer to that question. The port watchtower is at the end of the avenue, just as you turn for the Red Gate. You thank the old man and leave the City Hall. So hopefully we can get a red pass, right? At the end of the avenue, the cobbled street turns abruptly to the right. Opposite this point is a tall, white stone building with a plaque above the door. Port Watchtower, Harbor Authority. You can see that the cobbled street ends in a high stone wall. There is large red gate in this wall, and it is guarded by 2 soldiers. Beyond the gate, you can make out the masts of the ships moored in the harbor. We're going to enter the watchtower, baby. You are standing in a large empty hall opposite 2 doors, each with brass sign above them. White passes, red passes. I need to get a red pass, right? You enter the large room full of ledgers and files. A man wearing a uniform of Journey's naval officer is seated opposite the large desk. He peers at you inquisitively from behind a huge book and says, You must have pressing business in the naval quadrant to apply for a red pass at this late hour. I shall need to see your access papers and proof of your commanding officer's authorization. If you do not have the documents you require, can I just show him the frickin'... You will have to risk showing him the seal of Hammerdall. Thank you. That's what I need. If you have collected the necessary... we'll show him the seal. You get a red pass. Yay. The man stares at the seal with a look of shock and dismay. Without saying a word, he gets up from the chair and beckons you to follow him up a flight of spiral stairs that lead to a domed chamber. Here, you meet the captain of the port watch. He listens intently as you tell him of the war in Summerland and of your urgent mission. Issue a red pass immediately, he orders. Top priority. You collect your red pass and leave the port watchtower and hurry along the street towards the harbor guards. Mark the red pass at your extra. One of the guards steps forward and demands to see your red pass. Here's my red pass, bro. The soldier salutes you and allows you to pass through the red gate. You walk into the open square lit by tall beacons lining the quayside. To your relief, you sight the marble pillars of the Summerland consulate and familiar sun flag, your country flying above the fresh night breeze. As you climb the stone steps, you are recognized by a Summerlanding guards and the main door. They disappear inside quickly. Return in the company of a tall, gray-haired official. His anguished expression suddenly changes to a smile of joy as he beholds your ragged kai cloak and tunic. Hope beyond hope. Thank the gods that you live, Kai Lord. The scant news has reached us from the west has caused us great alarm. You are ushered inside and taken immediately to the envoy of Summerland, Lord Lieutenant Rygar. All right, I have one more save. I'm pretty sure I'm near the end of this book for good or for better or for worse. I'm going to do my save now. And I think we're going to... This might be a long episode because we're at 24 minutes now. But like I said, I don't think that there's enough here to warrant a fourth episode unless I die. Even if I die, I think it's going to be pretty quick. So we're going to save the game, and we're going to try and finish this book right now in this episode. So this might go a little bit long. +6 endurance points. Huzzah! Your first meeting with the Lord Lieutenant comes as something of a shock. You had perhaps half expected him to be a servile old man, as are the envoys of the southern lands that plague your king's court with their delegations. The man clad in a heavy chainmail standing before you is neither old nor servile. You are soon to learn that the Lord Lieutenant Rygar is an exceptional man. Born of a summer-lending father and a Durney's mother, he has become something of a legend in this city. In the last decade, he has led an alliance of the nations to victory against the invading ice barbarians of Cult. Wise in peace, fierce in war, you could not have wished for better company on your quest for the Summer Sword. I doubt he's going to stay with me for very long. Rygar orders that sumptuous meal be served. It is by far the best food you have ever tasted since the war began. During the feast, you recall the events and have brought you to Port Bax and reflect on the daunting challenge that still lies before you. After the meal, Rygar sends for his physician who attends to your wounds. I get a bunch of stuff. He advises you to sleep, for you are to leave with Lord Lieutenant for Hammerdall in the morning. Early next day, you are taken to an enclosed garden at the rear of the consulate where Rygar and 3 of his best soldiers await you on horseback. They are to be your bodyguard that guides you on the 230-mile ride to Hammerdall. The streets of Port Box are just beginning to come to life as you ride through the town, passing under the moss-covered city gate. You now feel confident that your mission will succeed. Okay. I am kind of lost here, because do I have another freaking half hour of this book? It's interesting, because the first book, I just kind of like chewed through it. And then this one, I'm 3 episodes deep in considering whether I would have enough time to do a fourth or not. If you do not have it back, you may choose to assume here that you are outfitted with one by that. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do one more random number, see where that takes us, and then, you know what? No, we're going to try for the 4th episode. We're going to try for a 4th episode. You guys can reach us on Facebook at OldManGamingDH, on X at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord, links in the description below, influence this, and all of our shows from there. Also, check out Wizard's Respite, great TTRPG stuff. All of our RPG stuff is also posted there. He does great articles, has some cool merchandise. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to go to a 4th episode because if we've done our last save. So if we go to a 4th episode, Claude dies twice, or he gets to the end. If he gets to the end quick, I'm not exactly sure what we'll do. Maybe we'll just do the experience and leveling up in that episode. If it's not to the end quick and he dies, we got to start over anyway. So that's what we're going to do. We'll be back next week.